Is it possible to start your dream business around your favorite hobby? Well, today we're in northern Los Angeles to hear the story of Mark, the founder of MyCardPost.
Just a regular guy coming up with a new concept.
This does not exist anywhere else in the sports card hobby.
Best thing I ever did was push that button.
In 3 years, he already has 11,000 members. But to get there, he had to invest 3 years of his life and $160,000.
In that first year, I probably lost close to $100,000. That's probably one of the harder lessons.
Today, we're gonna hear if it all paid off. So have you always been an entrepreneur? Is that in your DNA?
I think so, yeah. I've always been entrepreneurial at heart. The way my mind works, I'm always like trying to fix things or come up with a better mousetrap, or I always look at problems that maybe they're my own personal problems or problems that other people are presenting and think like, I can figure out a better way to make that thing work. And so I've always kind of dabbled in it. I've had millions of ideas. You talk to my family, they'd say the same thing. Like, he never stops. You know, he's always thinking of the next thing, so.
As an entrepreneur, how important is it to have family around?
I have a day job in sales that I work full-time. I have MyCardPost full-time. And then, you know, being a husband and a father is also another full-time job. So, you know, while you're trying to grow, you know, this business, having family and, you know, having a lot of outlets for my kids and my wife, and, you know, sometimes you can be a lot more productive when the house is quiet. So, yeah, I think it's definitely been a positive.
You got those three things you're juggling. How would you rank those right now in terms of importance?
Well, I mean, obviously my day job is very important to provide for my family. I don't make any money on MyCardPost, so every single dollar that this business makes, I just run it back.
Mark's passion for his startup is very clear. And as a sports card collector, I understand the challenges and I'm pretty excited to see how he solves them.
So you seem pretty focused on like solving pain. What pain were you solving in the sports card world when you started MyCardPost?
I mean, I didn't know in the beginning. I mean, ultimately when I got back into the hobby, same story as everybody, right?
Yeah.
Collected cards as a kid, lost touch with it for many years, and then, you know, right around COVID time, got back into it. I immediately started jumping into eBay and all the different marketplaces that were out there, and I was buying the cards that I wanted and chased as a kid, right? Buying those PSA 10s of the different players that I was interested in as a kid. But then I was experiencing a lot of the problems that most people in the hobby complain about, right? Yeah. This is, you know, everyone complains about the fees and, you know, why are the fees so expensive? Why can't we trade? Why do I have to watch what I say when I talk to somebody? So, you know, of course you're trying to like make deals with people and try to find ways to navigate these marketplaces because there's a lot of rules and restrictions that came with what I learned to discover was really tied to the fee-based model.
Okay.
There's got to be a better way, and I started just thinking about different ways in which there could be a marketplace that could solve some of these problems. And
okay. Have you started other businesses before this?
I mean, I wouldn't say I've started businesses.
Okay.
I've definitely have been very entrepreneurial. I've started products, I would say more so. I definitely have a lot of product ideas. Many of them that are just, you know, maybe I Googled it for 10 seconds and found that it already existed. And this one in particular spurred from a long flight home from Hawaii once when I was traveling there for work, and I was coming back and I was in the last row up against the bathroom. I couldn't lean back and sleep, and I was exhausted. All I wanted to do was like lean forward in my seat and like fall asleep. And, you know, that's when I had the idea to create my own inflatable pillow. So, but the beauty of this thing is not, you know, it was, you know, to be able to like, you know, lean forward and sleep leaning forward, but it was also like to have a motor. So it auto inflated. I got it this far, and, you know, unfortunately it was kind of cost prohibitive to take it any further, but, you know, again, it's just an example of, you know, having a problem, a personal hardship, and wanting to try to innovate and create something new and unique. So, you know, we didn't have a lot when I grew up. I grew up in a small town. My parents, you know, they worked hard just to put food on the table and clothes on our back and make sure we had what we needed. I just wanted to persevere. I wanted to do something good for my family. I don't know, like build a legacy, something that like scales beyond me, that's just like doing something good. Again, not just for my family, my personal family, my wife and my kids, but like, I don't know. I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but yeah, I think it's just, you know, to do something that scales beyond my lifetime. You know, just like, hey, I built something, it grew into something greater, and, you know, what a journey it was, you know, and I feel like I've just always aspired to do something, and I feel like I found it, like I found a thing that I could do.
Well, you're obviously a golfer, because I see a lot of golf
Yeah.
cards. Bryson, DeChambeau. Is there significance to that card there?
There's some very strong significance. So Bryson, I mean, obviously he's a transcendent golfer with a lot of what he's doing, but he's also, really driving into content, online content. And I don't know, many people maybe saw his hole-in-one over his house challenge. I, like many people, were waiting every day for the next video to show up where he would, every day he would add another attempt to hit a hole-in-one over his house. He finally did it. Well, I got the idea of trying to pull his rookie auto out of 2021 SP Authentic Golf and did the same thing. I'm gonna open a pack a day and increase it by the number of days.
Here we go. This is box number 4 out of 31. Let's go. Box number 11.
And I got all the way to day 35 before, man, I finally pulled the card.
Is that the one?
That is the card.
That's incredible.
Got it graded, came back in SGC 9.5, super stoked. That one will forever be in the PC for kind of the journey I went through of creating content every day, opening packs, and finally hitting it. It was awesome.
We freaking did it! Bryson DeChambeau, Authentics rookie.
So tell me about the moment where you said, I'm going all in, and you flipped the switch and dove into MyCardPost.
My light bulb moment really was realizing that a lot of the restrictions that were coming with all these different marketplaces was very specifically tied to the fee-based model. And you understand it, at that point, because that's the way that their revenue stream works. They don't want people to really get to know each other and build relationships. Obviously, take those deals offline. And a lot of reasons why it was really hard to trade, because it's hard to tack on fees when people aren't exchanging any money. They're maybe just doing card for card deals. And I don't remember when it happened, but I literally, just had a moment where I was like, what if I built a subscription-based marketplace? That for me was a game changer, because then all the pieces started falling into place as far as the different types of value and features that would be unlocked. But it still wasn't enough for me to take the leap. I probably sat on it for like 4 months, plus months. Occasionally like bringing it up with like my brother-in-law and other people that I had met in the hobby through like Instagram messaging, kind of sharing the idea, trying to find people to poke holes in it and like tell me it's a bad idea or it's not gonna work. But I got to the point where I was like, you know what, this is gonna work. This is a good idea. And this could be something. Really it was a lot of just like putting one foot in front of the other, because once you start, your momentum just kind of keeps you going. Like once I invested that first dollar in building it, like I wasn't gonna stop at that point. And it really took me 9 months from
flip the switch to get a minimum viable product?
From go to going live. It took me 9 months.
Along that journey, what were the bigger hurdles that you had to get past? I mean, were you developing this on your own?
I mean, I was the concept and the look and feel and the way things needed to work and the different types of deal flexibility that needed to be had. Because I mean, essentially you can do any kind of deal that you can think of on MyCardPost that you could do at a card show in person. So I really had to kind of think about how all those needed to look and work. I wanted it to be super easy to use, intuitive. I wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing and beautiful. And, so I think the hardest part was a lot of just design decisions and, things of that nature. So it took a lot of like back and forth to get things to the point where they felt right.
Were you bootstrapping every single thing?
To this day, I'm still doing it.
To this day. And so put date frame, like
Yeah.
time frame. Where were we at with the start?
Yeah, so I think, originally I started coming up with this at the end of 2021.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until like the end of March in 2022 that I actually started the process of like going forward and building. And then it was actually, I think, November 17th of 2022 when I went live, and I was so nervous. I found myself getting to the point where I was like trying to perfect it or try to improve it even more. And one day, I had no intentions of doing this. One day I was like, you know what, it's good enough.
Good enough.
Let me just go. And I had a silly Instagram reel that I put together that I think was just like the logo and like some sort of simple animation. I typed up a caption and I just sat there for like 45 minutes. I was so afraid to push the button. I was just afraid people were gonna trash it. I'd be like, this is a terrible idea. Who would come up with something like this? This is awful. We have so many marketplaces. We don't need another one. And so it took me, getting 20 seconds of courage to finally hit that button, push it live. I had some people that were waiting for me to do this as well.
Yeah.
And man, none of my fears came true.
Isn't that funny?
It is.
Along those journeys, like it's usually just the fear of either your pride or just the unknown that stops you from moving forward.
In my case too, like I wasn't anybody that had an existing hobby reputation. So to me, I was like, I'm a nobody. I'm just an average guy, just a regular collector like everybody else. Like who's gonna wanna follow a business platform that I put together, right? So a lot of it was my own self-worries, imposter syndrome. I mean, there's all these different types of things that hold people back, but the best thing I ever did was push that button.
Do you enjoy working from home?
Oh man, I couldn't have it any other way.
Yeah?
It's great. I mean, the luxuries of, being home and your kids get out of school early, so there's a lot of like extra time, family time that you get.
Yeah.
Being a part of, being home, being present. You can take a lot of breaks and pauses to do some stuff with the kids and things like that.
Was there ever a moment with your family where you're like, shoot, I got to reprioritize here and just like focus on the family?
We went through a little bit of struggle when we first moved here, and I had to kind of take a step back from MyCardPost, even my other job, take some time off and really prioritize my family. And I think moving here was not the easiest. We thought it was going to be fairly easy, but when you're uprooting your family and you're moving your kids and they're having to go to school and be the new kid again, and of course, we experienced an earthquake the night before the first day of school. So I think my kids and my daughter specifically had a really hard time adjusting to the new school, being the new girl, having to experience some of those things. And yeah, there was a little bit of a period of time where I had to kind of take a step back, be there, be more present for my family and focus on a lot more of their needs. This is where the magic happens.
Look at this. How many hours have been spent in here?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's literally most of the time per day, other than getting myself ready or traveling for work or doing stuff with the family in the evening time. But yeah, there's a lot of popping in and popping out. So I'm in here first thing in the morning when it's quiet, when everyone's still sleeping. I'm working. We get the kids out the door. I'm back in here for most of the day, doing my day job. In the evenings, I'm popping in and out as things are happening, if I'm getting messages from my community. But yeah, this is
HQ.
This is MCP HQ, man. This is where it all goes down. Yes, I've had this Albert Einstein thing for like 15 years, and to me, it's just like symbolizes like critical thinking and problem solving. Like everything that like MyCardPost is about was like solving the problems that so many of us were experiencing in the hobby and just doing things so different than what people were used to, which is also a challenge because now you're having to like re-educate people on a new way forward where they're not used to it. So
walk me through a day in the life of MyCardPost. You got somebody who's hearing this and they're thinking, okay, man, that just sounds so overwhelming. How do you kind of compartmentalize and process running a large business now?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, a lot of it is, trying to compartmentalize the time, so I do have a day job. So the majority of my days is spending working on that, but it's a lot of early mornings in here. Maybe the lights are still off, right? It's just me and my coffee cup, quiet, working quietly. A lot of times I'm waking up to maybe questions and things from our community that have rolled in on the contact us page where they just have questions about how things work or whatever it may be, and I'm answering questions. Usually got to get that first social media post out right there early in the morning to hit those East Coast time people. And then I transition. Again, a lot of it is just like weaving in and out. I have a very probably fast twitching brain as far as like switching my focus to MyCardPost, back to my day job or back to family. And I view MyCardPost as the hobby community's platform. Okay. Like I've built the foundation. It's in your hands now to kind of take it forward, bring your friends, grow this platform, bring your ideas and features to me. We'll build them. We've done it time and time again where people send us, hey, it'd be great if you guys had like a leaderboard so we could see who's doing the most deals.
You got it.
2 weeks later, we have a leaderboard. I was doing everything I could to facilitate deals. I wanted to showcase wins like, hey, this card sold, or this trade just went down. Now, in the beginning, a lot of them was me engaging with these community members. I wanted them to have really successful deals and like to just love the platform and then maybe bring their friends, right? So it was me heavily bringing new listings to the marketplace on a regular basis, doing deals. So, those early days, 80, 90% of the first, a few hundred deals was probably me and somebody else. The moment was really when you started seeing that change, where deals were going down in the community without me being involved. And that was the moment where I was like, wow, this is working. They're loving it. And the feedback I was getting, nobody was saying anything bad about it, which I was afraid of in the beginning. I was just getting nothing but like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing because I truly built something from the ground up that served the collector at its core, solved the problems that they were having because I was having them as well. And I felt like the rest would take care of itself. But again, that game-changing moment was when really people, when deals started taking on a life of their own.
You obviously have figured out the tools and the platforms you needed to help accelerate your journey. What were some of those platforms that you used to make your life easier?
Yeah, look, a lot of stuff. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't have developer skills. So, I started with literally getting my logo on Fiverr. You know, I don't know, maybe I spent like $40 to get the logo created, right? But it can't, you know, and it's something that's stuck and it turned out pretty good. I mean, obviously there's the core platforms that people are like Canva, I mean, invaluable for content creation. I found my developers through Upwork, and I formed the company through LegalZoom. And I mean, these are all just the different things that are out there. It's kind of like the easy button in a lot of ways, where it's just, you know, you can kind of pay for their expertise and they help you kind of get it done. A lot of things I wouldn't be able to do and design myself. When you are bootstrapping, I mean, you don't want to go spend exorbitant amounts of money on some of these tools. So it really just helps you kind of get your feet set, get your foundation going. And if something breaks or fails, then you can look into investing into something at a higher tier that provides more functionality.
And I couldn't help but noticing some of the books over here. I mean, as an entrepreneur, right, you're always trying to feed your mind. I see the Hormozis, the Gary V's. Is there anybody in particular that you kind of gravitate to as inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely follow a lot of like Gary V, Alex Hormozi. I mean, the ones we're talking about, I mean, their content's great. They give a lot of great advice. I definitely take nuggets from them all the time. You get different ideas, marketing ideas, content ideas, growth hacking ideas, you know, things that I've tried to incorporate into MyCardPost that are just like, they may look subtle, but there's true like value behind it. So yeah, I'm a bit of a voracious reader with business books and, you know, self-help. I try to be a good person and build things and do things the right way and try to just develop my business sense, if you will. But yeah, I like to read. While the community is great and the platform has been growing, I mean, it has cost a lot. I mean, I mean, that first year, I probably lost close to $100,000. Like knowing that I had something that was worth that kind of financial investment. And a lot of that was, you know, making mistakes, learning, you know, continuous development. I was buying a lot of inventory because in the early days, it wasn't a large community and I needed to continuously have new listings show up in the marketplace. So I would go buy, you know, 50, 100, 300 cards, maybe go do a local deal with somebody in my town, just source a bunch of slabs, it didn't matter. And I was intentionally selling them at a loss because I just wanted there to be like momentum and I wanted there to be deals happening and I needed new cards to be showing up.
How are you motivating yourself in that time to think, I'm going to keep doing this because $100,000, that's a legitimate loss.
Again, I think it comes down to like, you know, you have something in your core. Like I just felt it in my being that this is something special. This really could be something that gets pushed to the forefront of the hobby as like the hobby marketplace that is built in the right way. A lot of this is learning. You know, as an entrepreneur, you're learning how to do this. I've never built a business before. There's no perfect formula for me. There's no past history of a marketplace like this existing that I could, you know, somewhat copy. I was carving my own path and learning and failing as I go.
So what's the general idea, MyCardPost? Walk me through kind of the high level.
Yeah, again, I mean, ultimately, it's totally free. If you just want to come in here and buy cards from our community, it's free to join and you can buy cards all day long. But if you want to list your cards for sale or trade within the community, you know, then you do have to subscribe to one of our 3 plans, which is $9 a month. You can have up to 50 cards on the platform, $19 a month for up to 500 cards on the platform, and $22 a month for unlimited. You can have as many cards as you want on the platform. And really the idea here is that you're basically building your own home base or your own virtual card shop, right? Without having to own a brick and mortar store, you can really just be like the CEO of your own card shop. Here's Game Day Sports Cards. He's only been on the platform since December. He's done 51 deals, 5-star rating. I know he's buying, so he has this, he's activated his sell your cards. I could go in here, click sell my cards. I see exactly what he's looking for, and then I can come in here and like proactively send him an offer like, hey, you have a shop, you're buying certain things. Let me just come in here and, you know, start an offer with some of my cards. And, you know, it's just very easy to like send a message, type in your starting dollar amount, and it's just a back and forth negotiation.
I love it.
You know, he's got 1,000 cards here. I can see, you know, I can go and see he's got plenty of reviews on MyCardPost. These are verified reviews that go back to the transactions on the platform, so you could see exactly the deal that was done that was being reviewed. But one of the beautiful aspects here is the ability to just like negotiate on more than one card. This isn't just like single transactions. I can come in here and start a multi-card cash offer. Again, same super easy, intuitive workflow. Just be like, hey, I'm interested in these 6 cards. I add them to my starting offer, they're here. I see kind of the total amount. I just type a quick message. I see, you know, these are $250. I could just be like, hey, would you be willing to accept $200? And I'm negotiating on the whole lot. So it's a $200 offer on all 6 of these cards. There's no limit. I think the largest one, we had 86 card offer. So 86 cards were put up into a single offer and were purchased for, I think it was like close to $4,000. You can't do that anywhere else.
You can't. This does not exist anywhere else in the sports card hobby.
No.
You know, I love the community piece of this. You're right. The virtual CEO, you're running your card shop. That's a great way to think of it. But you showed me earlier the leaderboards, just kind of like ranking the amount of fees people are actually saving. Like this is real savings back into people's pockets.
100%.
That they can go put into more cards or more whatever they need to do for their business.
Absolutely. So like I said earlier, we're like a little over 2 years since day 0 here. We've already, we have about 11,200 subscribers to the platform, or members I should say. In that period of like 25 months or whatever it's been, we've had over $2.5 million of transactions go down. Like that's just trades, sales, bulk deals like we just walked through. And on top of that, our community has saved just over $170,000 in fees.
$170,000 in saved fees.
Yeah. And that's money that's staying in the hobby, right? It's staying in your pocket, it's staying in my pocket that I could go then use and get that next PC card or do another deal or add to my inventory. It's money that's just going back into the hobby where it belongs. So that's a game changer. Again, it comes back to that, like, hey, it's a small fixed monthly subscription to sell or trade here, but it can pay for itself multiple times over in just 1 or 2 deals.
$100,000 in debt first year, another $50,000, $60,000 in debt second
year. Year 2,
to year 3, you see a pathway to profitability.
Yeah.
Solving a pain
Yeah.
that 3 years ago was just this is Mark dealing with cards saying, I got to solve this pain.
Just a regular guy coming up with a new concept, a new idea. And yeah, I think, again, it's so unique. It's a grind, but I think we're ready to go and the platform works really well. The existing community we have that loves it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting it in front of more people and making them aware of it.
3 years ago, you could redo some things. What are the 2 or 3 things that you would potentially redo?
You know, I think I would start earlier. I would try to build a bigger audience in the beginning. Maybe not look to perfect it. It probably took me a little extra time to launch it. I don't know that I wouldn't do anything because I look at it as like, yeah, maybe you spent extra money, but it's all learnings. You know, as you're going through this, it's kind of like the cost of your entrepreneurial education. So I don't know that I would reverse anything because it kind of got me to where we are today.
Sure. And
a lot of these things are just lessons you need to learn.
Biggest mistake you made along the journey was what?
Biggest mistake I've made. I think probably the biggest mistake I made was thinking that like if you build it, they will come. Or also that, I could just go throw a couple $100s at Facebook ads and thousands of people are gonna show up at my front door. No, it's not. You're gonna go broke. Yeah, you're gonna go in severe debt. Those are probably some of I probably spent a lot of money thinking like, well, I'm gonna create this, terrible static image that's gonna work as an advertisement for me and it's just gonna bring the floodgates to me of new users. And that's probably one of the harder lessons that I've had to learn is just marketing is expensive, it's hard. You gotta keep trying creative new things. So yeah.
Flip the script, what's the biggest hack, the biggest game changer you found to increase your productivity?
Yeah, well, ChatGPT could be one. I think a lot of us use ChatGPT. It's an incredible brainstorming tool. A lot of times you just need someone to bounce ideas off of. It's crazy how much different kinds of thoughts you can extract out of ChatGPT. I think just a lot of just the elements of the platform and the community has really been helpful. The community aspect and the social aspect. The ability for people to make friends and build relationships with people has been probably one of the most interesting parts to watch evolve. The fathers and sons that are on this platform doing deals and things like that. So
that's pretty special.
Yeah.
Keeps you motivated, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than getting feedback from people, just thanking me for building this, and I'm undeserving of that kind of feedback from people. But yeah, it's definitely makes you feel really good when people appreciate what you've built. They appreciate the time and effort that you put into it. There's lots of people that know I work full time at a different job and so they want to do what they can to help. I have people setting up at card shows and be like, hey, can I promote for you? And it's pretty incredible what the community will do when they get behind something. Well,
you're solving pain, right? You're solving real tangible pain and people can get behind solving pain.
Yeah.
So that's check mark number 1. Mm-hmm. What about investors? You bootstrapped it, you put your own money into it. Why not just take investors and roll with this and grow it faster?
You know, I mean, there's a part of me that thinks like bootstrapping this has been my superpower in some sense. I've had interest. You know, I've had people reach out to me. They want to invest in it. They want to get in it. They love the idea. They see its potential in the future, and of course, they want to get in early. To me, I haven't gone down that path yet because I feel like it might just change the identity of the platform. It might change the types of decisions that we make, and maybe they want to increase subscription prices or, you know, do some unnatural things that are going to be more focused on the revenue of the business as opposed to the best interest of the community of users that we have. So I haven't considered that to this day. I'm not saying no forever. I don't know what the future holds.
Sure.
For now, we've been pretty successful bootstrapping it. I kind of like the control and freedom to, you know, build things fast that comes with, you know, not having venture capital or investors in it, but who knows what the future holds. We'll see.
Fair enough. You know, I'm a sucker for sports cards, but you know, I'm more of a sucker for someone who takes a passion and tries to start up something with their hobby. And Mark's a perfect example of taking his hobby, finding pain within it, and starting something through the adversity and turning it into something special. Quite the journey.
If you want to follow Mark's startup journey, his MyCardPost socials are linked below, and be sure to use code CHASING for a discount on any paid seller plan. See you next time.